So back to work on the fence. Once I put that in, then I'll be putting in saplings for the trees. And if I do have to adjust this later on, this side of the fence is fine. And I'll just repost the Project Zomboid map that I'm using in the stream. I'm going to be putting in spruce trees first because spruce trees can be finicky in how they generate. Sometimes if you put it by other trees, the spruce tree refuses to grow. And with planting them, I'm just trying to get them what I think is a fairly good distance apart. And I'll fill in the distance with birch and oak trees. The trees that I'm putting in aren't going to be like the trees from the game Project Zomboid. I'm trying to get it as close as I can, but the trees take up a bit more space than the ones in Project Zomboid. So it would skew everything anyway, so I just decided to place the trees in like this to try to make it a little bit more natural, rather than sculpting the trees. So I'm just basically with this trying to get the feel for Project Zomboid about as close as I can. Now while these are growing, I'm going to be working on the last section of this area right here. And it used to be a house at one point, but it looks like someone has removed the house. That plus the grass hasn't really grown back since it's been removed. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that if I were to use just simple dirt blocks, they would convert back to grass blocks eventually. But whereas if I create a dirt path, it won't convert back unless you place something on top of it. And that'll make it look like someone has moved a house. Maybe like in the show Texas Flip and Move. Taken it elsewhere and rebuilt it or done something to it. Just removed it in general. Once these spruce trees are in, then I'll go back with birch trees and use those to create contrast. Since the two, birch tree being much lighter than spruce, and I'll use oak trees to fill in the places. In terms of ease in growing them, they pretty much go in that order. With spruce trees and birch trees, they pretty much grow straight up. The only difference is the size. So spruce trees can have a somewhat bit of a problem growing. Birch trees can have a similar problem, but they tend to be smaller trees, and for whatever reason, they have a much easier time growing than spruce trees. Any leaves above it they'll displace with no problem. Sometimes spruce won't do that. Oak trees are the easiest to grow, and you could put a wall of oak trees or saplings and they'll still grow. And that is mostly because there's a wider variety of sizes of oak trees, not just sizes but also varieties of oak trees that can grow. With spruce, there's fewer varieties. The same thing is sort of true with birch, but the size of the birch trees, many of the birch trees, allows it to fit in many areas. that spruce would not grow. Some of these I'm increasing the speed so I don't have as much control over where the trees go. And that's just self-limitation right there. To make it more chaotic. Basically, it makes it a little bit harder to put it in exact areas. Sometimes that can be a problem, so I'm doing this to try to mitigate that factor. It's picking up my fan a bit more than I wanted it to, so I'm going to turn that off in a moment. I got a lot of grass to put in now. At least the advantage is I don't have to put in individual grasses. Individual tall grasses as a block. I can just use this and it'll give a fairly good variety of grass and flowers. Okay, so this is temporarily, a lot of this is temporarily because I may need to fix this later on. That's because I got thrown off just slightly right here. But I think it still looks nice for the moment. And I'll fill in some more grass. Say right here, here, here. And here maybe. And more grass here. This area. And leave some of the area here open. Okay, that's it for this stream. And I'll do a flyover of what I've worked on. Particularly these three houses right here. Well, this house, and this house right here. A house that was removed. Don't know if it was just destroyed or just moved somewhere. The fence, I completed the fence up to the parking lot over here. Filled the area with trees and grass. And the last house I'd worked on, the first house actually on the stream, was right here. And let's take a look at this place again. No, I don't need any more grass for this one. Thank you for watching this stream, and that is it for now. I'll still be working on houses. I've got up to this area completed, but I still have a lot to go in this direction. There's going to be a house right here, and then the next time I stream Project Zomboid, house here, and in this area right here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. And 2 houses here. One house between the side street, that being this right here. One house between this side street and this building right here, and 2 houses between these 2 streets. And I'll work on that during the next stream. So thank you very much for watching, and that is it for now.